Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. William Ruto is having many battles that he's supposed to fight. And I doubt whether he actually has the mantle to fight all those battles. And those of us who believe that UDA breakthrough in the last general election was very accidental. Fellows did not really expect quite a number. I think only even William Ruto was just putting it. I'm speaking about this because of just 1 year after coming to power. And when they came to power, it came to power amidst a cloud of some holy alliance between election enablers, that is, members like the judiciary and the caucus at IBC. Things seems to be falling apart. And things are falling apart very quickly. I don't know, what do you think about that? Because just in this month, President William Ruto has lost very significant cases in this country. Harriet Chigai, who is advisor, President's Women Rights Advisor, advocate, was dispatched yesterday to meet Martha Koome. And in a tweet that was sent out, he said, paid a courtesy call to the Chief Justice, Honorable CJ Martha Koome, where we discussed matters of national importance touching on women and girls and access to justice both in and out of the judiciary. This meeting, I've been following this meeting the developments about this meeting significantly, because yes, I agree, and it's true that Chigai is also an advisor to the president. But it's coming at a time when the president is facing it rough from the other side of the judiciary. They lost the CAS, they lost finance bill, was stopped there, and there are quite a number of setbacks that have been going on. And this meeting, I want to really get convinced that it is not just on this. Sometimes what is discussed is not what is said. Sometimes you need to read between the lines. It's true that judiciary pride itself as the only and the first, and think the only government arm of government that has achieved 2/3 gender role, that has surpassed the 2/3 gender role, with 49% being the female composition of the judiciary, and then 51 being the male composition. Now, this was a clear, this meeting, I want to believe, had a clear blessings of William Ruto, that his personal advisor was dispatched to meet Martha Koome. I've taken keen interest because of some two reasons. Harriet was a close associate of Musalia Mudavadi before the general election, and whenever she would appear at the TV interviews, she was actually defending the ANC leader. So I want to believe she was brought in government through the NC side. Number two, Harriet was also working at the Law Society of Kenya. She was at the Law Society of Kenya. So she's more acquainted with it because she's actually an advocate. And number three is the fact that currently there have also been a discussion on legality on the office of Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. So these things have been going on. And while the president was away, it is very true that UDA setbacks in the courts is really eating into what they can achieve. Now, that is why I want to break down clearly why William Ruto has opted for backroom talks with Martha Koome. But before that, I want to remind you we are closing on Sarah's fundraiser. Today is date 7th. I think it's ending on Wednesday. Yes, so we still have, we have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, just 3 days to go. We are supporting her. She's one of us, by the way. She was one of us. And we supported her medical bill here last year. But unfortunately, she fought acute leukemia, but God decided that she was going to rest on the other side. So we lost her on 26th. And we are just supporting the last expense of Sarah, just to offset the medical bill that is remaining, and last expense, and also the welfare of the child that has been there. And I want to say thank you very much for those members of this channel that hung around. I am just so glad that it never ended at just releasing her from the hospital. Quite a number paid for chemo, some paid for house rent. I'm just so glad those who we hung around with. Asanteni sana. Now, that's why we are doing the challenge actually. Now, there are very clear reasons why William Ruto is now going backroom with Martha Koome. William Ruto has realized that there are powers outside government that are regrouping against UDA. Those powers are regrouping. And he is more acquitted. He really understands the power of these people outside government regrouping, because this is what happened during the BBI. Let me tell you, civil society organizations, that was the Katiba Institute and other institutions, this David Ndii, William Ruto, Martha Karua, and amongst other people, powers outside government converged, regrouped against BBI. And BBI was stopped. Let's say the truth. It was stopped not on the merit of its contents. It was stopped on judicial activism. And because by that time, there was a political propaganda being carried. I've always said that if there was a deal that was between maybe judiciary and William Ruto, that deal could have been, maybe it was signed a year even before this election. So he knew very well that those powers outside government converged, they regrouped and brought down BBI. And remember that time the president had not even, former President Uhuru Kenyatta had not even appointed the other, a contingent of other judges that was supposed to be appointed. So that is one thing that he seems to have realized, and maybe the legal team are saying, government cannot just lose. You know, we've listened to leaders saying, government doesn't lose unless it is designed so. They only lose when they decide to. But I can't remember when last government won a very significant case that trended in this country. Even the David Ndii and cabinet without portfolio, the Malalas being allowed in cabinet, is actually being challenged in court. And there is a very high likelihood that they're going to fail. So these court setbacks also paint William Ruto as a man who does not follow the law, and that is why the courts have to keep on reminding him to toe the line. The other second thing why Ruto is looking after Koome is because UDA has breached the law in many instances. Very many instances. Be it about the appointment of CS, I read the ruling, and the judges were actually saying that chief administrative secretaries cannot deputize. They cannot deputize the cabinet secretaries. The constitution did not, the 2010 constitution, and that's what the judges said, it did not envision such a large executive. That's number one. And as we talk, even these petitions are sometimes supported internally by those in government. Do you know that principal secretaries have been at loggerheads, like they don't understand. It's not yet clear. Are they supposed to be answerable to the CS or to the cabinet secretary? And the event that cabinet secretary is not there, does CS serve as a deputy? Can CS appear in the National Assembly to respond to queries the way ministers are appearing in the absence of minister? There have been a lot of questions. Can CS appear or represent the cabinet secretary in the Senate? You know, so the question about breaching the law, I think Ruto has just realized that if the courts are to be fair, then everything, quite the number of draft opinions that were turned into decisions that can be overturned by court. And the more this is happening, apart from government losing in terms of litigation costs, there is quite a number of money that goes into it. The other day, Nairobi County was nearly approving 1 billion to pay pending bills, which was on legal fees. Now, these are cases that did the county lose? You know, did they lose those cases so they have to pay the lawyers? So there is something going on. And maybe the office of Attorney General is underfunded. So some of these litigations could also be supported by those in government so that they go there, they find opportunity to represent the government and make money. If anything, we're in a capitalist economy. We are a capitalist country where everyone for himself. It is no longer about the collective responsibility. The other last reason why Raila would look for Martha Koome, Ruto look for Martha Koome, is there is some sense that Raila is regaining his grip, or rather is penetrating corridors of judiciary. There is that bit of it. And it is not a talk we want to entertain, but you've seen a number of MPs, of legislators on the government side complaining that some of the decisions that the courts are making are decisions that they're making because Raila has penetrated it. Remember, between 2013 to 2017, Raila won a lot of cases, by the way. So this is something that is going on. But what I also know that many people may not want to talk about is our governance spaces is a bit elaborate. You may need to give William Ruto accolades for it. And I think there is a lot of oiling from international powers that are putting Ruto on toes. And that tells you that it's not going to end today. We still have a long way to go. Thank you.